Yo, what's up, dudes? Grady here with Grady's Gear, and today I got something I want to share with you guys. I picked up a new knife. It's my second knife purchase of 2022, and I went with the Sharp by Design Mini Tempest. These are extremely popular right now. There is a huge story behind what Brian Nadeau went through to get these here. I'm not going to get into that, mainly because I followed it last year, but at that particular point in time when the pre-orders were going, my channel was still fairly new, and I was just reviewing other stuff, so I overlooked it. But he went through a lot of shit to get this stuff here, guys. And they did a drop last week, I think. And I was able to get in on one, guys. And I want to talk about it, guys. A lot of guys have already started putting out reviews on this and are absolutely loving it. And I just want to give you guys my honest opinion and my honest thoughts on it. I have carried it a little bit. I actually carried it the other night out to a fancy dinner. And I've had it in my pocket. And I've played with it. And I just want to give you guys my honest take on this thing. So I did go with the gray blasted. I went with the Bowie shape. It also comes in a drop point blade, carbon fiber inlay and M390 blade steel. Not much to the packaging on this guy, just the box and the padded foam in here. I did go with DLT Trading. I love shopping with DLT Trading, guys. I will leave a link to their website down below. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I've ordered from them a ton. Super fast shipping, great customer service, awesome people. Highly recommend them. Check them out. So, this is what I went with. Now, these come in a bunch of different variations. I know I got one. Kevin got one. Jake, he also got one. Me and Jake went with the Bowie. Kevin's got one. I think he's got a Bowie and a drop point, if I believe. I did not know until after I ordered this because I knew they would sell quickly. So I kind of was hauling ass and just ordered the first one that I thought looked dope. That they had a blue fat carbon one. That one was a little bit more expensive. This one was $375, and the blue fat carbon one was like $425. So it's like a $45 difference, I think. Kind of glad though that I didn't get it because from the ones I've seen, it just doesn't look like it had that much blue in it, and I would have wanted a lot more blue in that. And you know, the extra 40 something bucks or whatever it is just didn't seem worth it to me. So 375 for this. I have no problem paying that for this. These are manufactured by Riot, which I love as an OEM. They do fantastic work, and this thing is no exception. I bought this knife, fully intended it on being more as an art piece than anything else. Yes, I do carry it. Yes, I will use it. I use all of my knives. But this I definitely bought for its more intricacies, and it's just super pretty and all that. And I'm at that stage in my collecting where some knives that I buy fall into that category, guys. So we're going to take a look at it. It is a front flipper. This is the first front flipper that I have owned. I've reviewed just, I think, two of them. And they were both penas, and the penas like wrap around here, which is more of what I'm used to. This is my first where it kind of protrudes out beyond the frame. See, I'm still learning. There we go. I can get it. But this is my first front flipper that I've ever owned. So I'm still learning. I'm having to adjust my grip and stuff like that. As you can see, I went with the Bowie shape just because I thought it looked absolutely gorgeous. And this is rocking a hand satin blade. And not machined hand satin blade, hand rubbed satin blade where somebody has actually done this. Very, very cool. That is a cut. This is probably the closest I've come to a custom in my collection because it's got these custom touches on it. Very, very beautiful. As you can see, there's Brian's signature right there from Brian Nadeau. This is like a frame lock right here, a bolster lock, and he's got a detent system on here that's a little bit different. And it's got the same satin, hand rubbed satin on the pocket clip. And as you can see right here, here are the relief cuts. I wish the Mula was like this, because this doesn't kind of tear up your pocket when you're getting it in and out. This knife, guys, is freaking amazing. The action on this is just, it's to die for. There we go. The shining jewel to this thing, other than its looks, is the ergonomics. Everything is so rounded on this thing, guys. It fits my hand perfectly. The jimping for the front flipper is right where it needs to be on the thumb, and it's not overly aggressive, so I'm okay with that. And it just falls right here. You got kind of a swell right here that really wraps around your fingers very, very well, and everything's just so contoured and well rounded. There is no hot spots on this knife when I'm using it. Fan-freaking-tastic, guys. Action is the second crowning jewel. This thing is like glass, and the sound it makes when it closes, and that detent sucks it in. Damn. There we go. Let's see if we can get that. That sound is just awesome. I do love the custom pivot right here. It is beautiful and gorgeous. I want to say that's a I think that's a T8. Could be wrong. Might be a T6. But I believe that's a T8. There we go. This thing, very lightweight, very slim in the pocket, which is great. Right here, you can see it's not an integral, but it almost looks like it is. You see the line right here where it's two slabs of titanium meshed together. Very seamless on here, guys. The same thing goes for the carbon fiber. There is no transitioning between this. It is so smooth and just very, very well done. This is a very beautiful, beautiful knife. The centering on this guy is dead freaking center. No issues there. Just a gorgeous knife. And that's why I bought it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. There we go. Okay, so one of the negatives. I do not, you see right here on the fuller towards the back, you see those markings? That is not a scratch. That looks like something that came from manufacturing as a defect or markings from a machine. I don't like that. It's right here on the back too, a little bit. As you can see, there's a little bit of markings right there. And it's not, it's mainly on the show side. I don't know what that is. I don't know if something will get that out. I might have to contact Brian and see what he can do about that. Guys, for a $375 knife, that is not cheap. So my area of letting things go is very, very small when it comes to these price points. And that's just something I'm going to bring up. I've asked my buddies, and none of them, so you can see it really good now. None of my buddies have that issue with theirs, but mine arrived out of the box like that, and that just bugs me on a knife at this price point and this pretty, with this high quality. But things happen. Things get past inspection or something, and maybe you might let that go, but I'm not. It bugs me with my OCD. The second thing that I'm not the biggest fan of, I love the milled pocket clip. I love how it's not overly upswept right here, so it doesn't create a hot spot when it's in my hand, but it is pretty tight. That's a pro and a con for me. The pro is that I don't ever have to worry about it coming out of my pocket. I will be completely honest. I am not that guy that takes a knife out and puts it back in one-handed. Whenever I take a knife out, it's one-handed, but when I put it back in, I use both hands, especially on an expensive knife like this. I use both hands mainly because I want to make sure that it's in there secure and that it's not going to fall out of my pocket and I'm going to damage my new baby. You know, I do not baby my knives, but I also understand that these are investments and I don't want to damage them. So, but the pocket clip is a little tight, in my opinion. The other thing that I've noticed, and this may just be me, guys, it may be my inexperience with a front flipper, but my detent feels a little light because I have to really rip it in order to get it to come out. And again, may just be me, but my detent does feel a little bit light on mine. I'm not sure. Once I contact Brian and tell him about this fuller, because I want that removed, I might tell him about my detent and say it just feels a little light. But then again, it may just be me. I'll have him look at it, and if he thinks the same thing, then I was right. And if he tells me I'm fucking nuts, then I was wrong. But yeah, the other thing that bugs me is not anything knocking against the knife. Okay, so the fuller is awesome, right? The fuller was not designed to be middle finger flicked. Okay, that was not in his design. It was not meant to be finger flicked. It was meant as an aesthetic, and aesthetically, it looks sexy as hell, right? But I like to have multiple deployment options, and I do prefer to middle finger flick my knives. This is riding so close to the frame here to where I can't get my fat ass fingers in there to middle finger flick. I can get it like 4 out of 10 times that I've been able to do it. I got buddies who have more slender fingers that can get them in there and do it just fine. I cannot. And like I said, I can get it, but it's not like 100% of the time. So I mainly just use the front flipper, right? So it's not a negative on the knife. It's just my own thing. Like I'd like to be able to middle finger flick this thing. But if you got the drop point has more clearance because of, the clip point comes down like this. The drop point has more clearance on it. And I've had my buddies say that the drop points are easier to middle finger flick than the Bowie. Kevin has both, and he tested out both, and he had the same issue with the Bowie and said that the drop point he could get 100% of the time, and the Bowie was only like 5 out of 10. So that's just something to note. If you do have the drop point, you can probably middle finger flick that, which is dope. But that's not taking away anything, guys. I didn't buy it to be a fidget toy. I bought this to be a just sweet ass, beautiful knife for me to carry when I go out to nice dinners and I'm maybe a little bit more dressed up, or I'm just feeling bougie and want to carry some nicer things on me. I can have this. And this thing is just absolutely stunning. I just freaking love this thing. One more thing. Before I end this video, we're already 13 minutes in. The other main thing that I think Brian hit the nail on the head is the blade to handle ratio. This is a 3.5-inch blade, guys, and he uses up all the real estate in the handle. This reminds me of Shearer Grow-Off, what they do. And he uses all that real estate in the handle and packs as much blade as he can into the handle. This knife is less than 8 inches in overall length. It is like 7.8 something overall inches length, and this is a 3.5-inch blade. So you're getting a ton of blade with a lot of cutting edge into a compact package. That is awesome, guys. That is freaking awesome. I love when companies do that and pack as much blade as they can in there to where you get more cutting edge, but it's more compact. My Arius is a huge knife, right? My Arius is a freaking huge knife. And that's a 3.5-inch blade. This is a 3.5-inch blade and way smaller. And it fits into this handle. Now, I'm not knocking on the Arius. I love the Arius, but I'm just saying I love when companies do that. He's able to keep it slim, lightweight, easy to carry, and just an awesome, awesome knife to add to your collection. And I am so happy that I got this and have been able to experience it. This thing is just, I've always, and this is something that Kevin told me, right? I've always been amazed at how Leon Ma really pushes Riot. Brian Nadeau really pushes Riot. And that's something that Kevin told me. He just does a fantastic job on pushing what their quality, what they can do. And I wholeheartedly agree with him on that. This thing is awesome. I wasn't sure about it at first, and then Kevin told me, he's like, dude, you're in for a surprise. If you get one, you're not going to regret it. And he's right. I didn't regret it. So shout out to Lefty EDC for telling me to pick one of these up, and I have no freaking regrets on doing that. There we go. Hear that ting? I'm starting to get it, guys. I'm starting to get the front flipper. Oop, nope, I guess I'm not. I'm still learning, guys. Again, this is my first front flipper, so I'm still learning. I will say I prefer the ones that wrap around because I can grab up here and really just rip it. This right here, it just pokes. It's not bad by any means. See, I got it that time. I really got the whip that time. But I prefer the ones that come around right here because then I can really just get a good amount of grip on that. Not a huge deal. But man, this thing is just gorgeous. They had this gold fat carbon that looked really cool. I almost went with that, but I'm a creature of habit. I like my monochrome look and stuff like that, so I went with this, and I don't regret it. If I were to pick up another one of these, I think I want the blacked out version. Just because I will say this hand satin is gorgeous, but I would much prefer a belt satin just for everyday use. I would use it more if it were a belt satin than a hand satin on here. It's not that I'm not going to use this, but I definitely am not going to use it very hard because of that hand satin. I don't want to mess that up. So, but yeah, guys, that is my take on the Sharp by Design Mini Tempest by Brian Nadeau, and I am just in awe. I'm super pumped that I was able to get one of these. 2022 is looking awesome for me with knife purchases. I've been really getting some heavy hitters that I'm just really excited about, and that's really my comfort zone right now. Last year was a lot different. I couldn't bring myself to spend, $180 on a knife. In the beginning, $200 on a knife. That was something I had to think about. Now, $300 and up, it doesn't even bother me. It's crazy how things have changed in a year. So, but I freaking love this thing, guys. If you haven't got one, I'm sorry. I'm sure they'll pop up on the secondary, but I can almost assure you they're going to be a pretty penny. They did go to a bunch of different dealers, and they all sold out very, very fast. But if you got one, let me know in the comments what you think, if you love it or if you hate it. I freaking love it. I think it's awesome. With the little gripes that I have, I still think it's a fantastic knife and just great overall. I love the design, love everything about it, and it makes me want to try out more of Sharp by Design products. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found everything that I was saying informational on just the little details of this, because on a knife at this price point, I want to get a little bit more intricate and judgmental, so to speak, on the knife and just give you my honest opinion. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next one.